Good evening, everybody. It's me, LisaT, coming at you with some positive energy, reading The Language of Letting Go by Beattie. I was almost going to say, I just did say to myself, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. It's like, no, doing these changes my experience of life. Doing these improves my life so much. So why would I stop doing it? This is what happens as human beings. We do something that gets us somewhere, and then we forget. We get happy, and then we stop doing the things that got us to that happy spot. Like even with exercising, people exercise and then they fall off. They fall off the beam. And then they're like, oh, I'm gaining weight. And we forget what the tools we've used to get us to a certain point. We forget to keep using them to keep us progressing forward. So I was almost going to stop doing this today. And then I thought, nope, got to keep at it because it makes my life so much better when I'm doing these readings. Okay, because it keeps my mind focused on the right things. So we are doing January 8th. So The Language of Letting Go by Beattie, January 8th. Vulnerability. This one, my best friend, actually, not one of, my best friend, she tells me that I have a fear of intimacy. And so I've been looking at this. I don't think I do. I share my emotions so freely. I talk so freely, but there's something there that she's got something. And I think it's with a true vulnerability. I think I have a fear of being really, truly vulnerable. I go almost there, but not all the way there. So let's see what we learn today. Some of us may have made a decision that no one was ever going to hurt us again. Yeah, that resonates with me. I say no one can hurt me, and then I do get hurt. So something's there. I think no one can hurt me, but then I do get really emotionally in a lot of emotional pain. So there's something there. We may automatically go on feelings freeze mode when faced with emotional pain, or we may terminate a relationship the first time we feel hurt. I might do that internally. I might immediately shut down internally. Okay, so let me just read that again. We may automatically go on feelings freeze mode when faced with emotional pain, or we may terminate a relationship for the first time we feel hurt. Hurt feelings are a part of life, relationships, and recovery. It is understandable that we don't want to feel any more pain. Many of us have had more than our share. I feel like I have, for sure. In fact, at some time in our life, we may have been overwhelmed, crushed, or stopped in our tracks by the amount of pain we felt. I definitely have experienced that. We may not have had the resources to cope with our pain or take care of ourselves. So when that happened back then, when I was crushed, for instance for me, when my mom died, I was crushed. I was stopped in my tracks. There was so much pain, and I was just a little girl, so I didn't know how to cope with that pain. I definitely didn't know how to take care of myself. I went into world mode and went into self-destruct mode. I didn't know how to take care of myself, and I did actually the opposite thing as taking care of myself. So that's why I got an adult. Now Lisa is going to do something different today. Anyways, so you can think about that in time in your life when you were crushed, and reflect on how did I cope in that time? How did I cope back then? Because now we want to do something different. So because back then we may not have had the resources to cope with our pain or take care of ourselves. But that was yesterday. Today, we don't have to be so frightened of pain. It does not have to overwhelm us. We are becoming strong enough to deal with hurt feelings. If you watch back a couple of videos ago, I was feeling this anger that I hadn't felt since I was 13. That's what I expressed. Now I'm connecting more and more dots, right? But I knew in that time I have to feel this anger, I have to feel this pain, I have to let it out, I have to talk to someone and tell them all the stuff that's swirling around in my head and get it out of me. That's how we use our support system. Okay, so today we don't have to be so frightened of pain. It does not have to overwhelm us. We are becoming strong enough to deal with these hurt feelings, and we don't have to become martyrs, claiming that our hurt feelings and suffering are all there is to life. And we don't have to become martyrs, claiming that hurt feelings and suffering are all there is to life. I have gone through that phase where I was like, well, suffering is the touchstone of our, touchstone of pain. And if you read I read a lot of Buddhist stuff, and in Buddhism they talk about the suffering being part of the journey, But maybe I've become a martyr because I got that in my head. So I was like, oh yeah, this suffering, this is part of the journey. But it doesn't have to be that way. We need only allow ourselves to feel vulnerable enough to feel hurt when that's appropriate, and then take responsibility for our feelings, behaviors, and what we need to do to take care of ourselves. So we need to allow ourselves to feel vulnerable enough to feel hurt. So allow yourself to feel vulnerable, so to say, okay, I'm going to feel this pain, literally feel it, literally sit and let the tears come or let the anger come or whatever comes, but let that emotion be expressed through your body, through your words, through your voice, when it's appropriate. And then take responsibility for those feelings, and then say, okay, this feeling is my responsibility. I'm not going to turn to someone else to fix it. We're responsible for our feelings, then what we do with it, and what we need to do to take care of ourselves. So we don't have to analyze or justify our feelings. That's what I've been a victim of, or I've been someone that does that, analyze the feelings, and just like trying to figure out where it comes from instead of just feeling it. My analytical mind can sometimes be a coping mechanism, so I just don't feel it or justify our feelings. We need to feel them and try not to let them control our behavior. So feel the feelings, but don't act on those feelings. Maybe our pain is showing us that we need to set a boundary. Maybe it's showing us, so the pain is there to show you something. Maybe our pain is showing us we need to set a boundary. Maybe it's showing us we're going in the wrong direction. I've learned that as I step foot into the dating world again. These painful things, it's my inner wisdom telling me, stop, Lisa. Showing us we're going in the wrong direction. Maybe it's triggering a deep healing process. That too. I think for me, it's all of those things. Showing us we're going in the wrong direction, need to set a boundary, and triggering a deep healing process. Amen to that. It's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to cry. It's okay to heal. It's okay to move on to the next feeling when it's time. So I actually felt guilty that I was like so happy and exhilarated today. I was like, wait a second, I just had like 3 days ago, I was in this emotional pain. Shit, maybe I missed something. Now I've missed the boat. I should have stuck there. Like I again, overthinking it. But it was just time for me to move to the next feeling. That's all. And when it's time. Our willingness and capacity to feel hurt will eventually be matched by our willingness and capacity to feel joy. Being in recovery does not mean immunity from pain. Being in recovery does not mean immunity from pain. It means learning to take loving care of ourselves when we are in pain. Here's the prayer for today. Today, I will not strike out at those who cause me pain. Please don't strike out at those who cause you pain. Don't strike out in anger. Don't strike out in blame. Don't strike out in you did this to me. Don't do any of that. Today, I will not strike out at those who cause me the pain. I will feel my emotions and take responsibility for them. I will accept hurt feelings as part of being in relationships. I am willing to surrender to the pain as well as the joy in my life. Amen. The yin and yang, pain and joy, pain and joy, pain and joy, up and down. C'est la vie. It is the journey of life and the journey of loving yourself. Thanks for watching. Keep loving yourself and keep feeling it all. Good night.